Today on Cryptic Mass Guitar, we do a comparison between the Epiphone SG Special Satin E1 and the Gibson SG Standard. Why? For fun. Now, as always with Epiphone versus Gibson comparison videos here, I want to address the elephant in the room. I know what the comments are going to be. There's going to be three main comments. Number one, Epiphone is way better than Gibson. Gibson's horrible. Boo, horrible money, extra money. And then the second one's going to be Gibson's way better than Epiphone. Epiphone's horrible. They're made in China. This is only for new people. And of course, you know, the best one, which is just going to be the goofball in the back that goes, they both suck. And as always, for guitar comparison videos, YouTube videos are great. They help you get a different perspective. You can hear some, sound differences or potential sound differences, whether you can hear them or not, in the guitars. But the one thing that you can't get from it is how the guitar feels in your hands, how you might bond with the guitar. So don't let a goofball like me tell you what guitar to buy. Go to the store and try them out for yourself. Try every guitar in the store, whether you can afford it or not. Make them let you play the expensive ones. That way you can kind of gauge what guitar you're after now and what guitar you might be after in the future. And of course, you can actually feel how it feels in your hands. But I do have 5 sound samples for you today. We gotta please everybody, and we do a bridge, middle, and neck in clean. And then, of course, it is this channel here, so we end things with a full-on metal sound sample. So now that we've heard the 5 sound samples there in the comparison between the Epiphone SG Special Satin E1, they should have just called it the Epiphone SG E1 versus the Gibson SG Standard. Have to say, I do have a dog in this fight, but I don't care. I own this, so the Gibson SG Standard, and I've rented the Gibson SG Special Satin E1. So, you know, take that however you want. Truth be told, though, I make sure that I play the Epiphone before I play the Gibson, because then the tone is technically geared towards the Epiphone. I guess you could say, but I just so you know, I'm not going back and watching these videos going like, come on, Gibson, kick the Epiphone's butt. I really don't care. I hate watching videos of myself in general, but I don't like watching it when I'm talking like right now, so I'm not skewing anything in any way. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about some of the similarities and some of the differences, and then we'll talk about each individual guitar. So first and foremost, both of these guitars have a carved body. The horns on the Epiphone are thicker and wider than they are on the Gibson. Does that matter? No. The Gibson is a mahogany body. The Epiphone here is a poplar body. We have a nitro gloss finish on the Epiphone, which some people do not like, and we do have just a regular satin finish similar to the satin Jacksons on the Epiphone. Again, mahogany, poplar. Both of these have mahogany necks. The Epiphone here has a slim taper D shape, so it's slightly thicker than a regular slim taper neck, which is great because it gives you a little more stability. And the Gibson has the rounded profile, so it's definitely a little thicker. It's not baseball bat by any means, but you know, 3 or 4 sizes down from a baseball bat neck. The Epiphone has a bolt-on, the Gibson has a set. The Epiphone has the silk-screened Epiphone logo on the front with no holly leaf, and the Gibson has the inlaid logo with the inlaid holly leaf. Tuner-wise, the Epiphone has the very flimsy and requires a quarter turn before it actually grabs the string, the premium covered tuners, whereas the Gibson here has the Grover Rotomatic tuners. The Epiphone has an unbound Akamai fretboard with the dot inlays, whereas the Gibson has a bound fretboard that is rosewood and has the trapezoid inlays. Pickup wise here, the Epiphone has the Epiphone 700T and 650R. So they're also open coil, so there's no cover or anything on them like that. They're rather hollow, which is fine, works really well when you're dialing in like a metal tone or a chunk tone or something like that, but can give you some issues. So if you're switching from this guitar to this guitar, there's definitely going to be some EQ issues, and you would generally want, if you've got that sound that you're going for, or that sound that's just you're gonna want to adjust if you're switching from this guitar and this guitar. The Gibson has the 490R and 490T pickups. They're a little on the hot side, not really crazy hot, but they are very well balanced. A little bit more mid and high mid focus, but there's quite a bit of clarity that's on them. The Epiphone has the Epiphone lock tone Tune-o-matic and stop bar, whereas the Gibson has the Nashville style Tune-o-matic and stop bar. The Epiphone has unnamed pots, but it's still hand wired with one single volume and one single tone. To me, that's a downside, because one of the tricks that I've always used is to put the guitar in the middle position and dial back the neck to about, you know, halfway. And I do that when I'm playing leads, and it kind of gives me the clarity of the edge of the bridge pickup with a little bit of that sweet low end on the neck, and I find that always really works for a lead. And of course, the Gibson here has PCB with Gibson branded pots. Some people find this a downfall. Some people really don't care. I fall in the lines of I don't care. but it is a cost saver. It doesn't make your guitar a computer, like some people really believe that, but it doesn't do that. It's just a cost saver because you don't have to pay someone to, you know, mildly burn their fingers when they're, you know, soldering guitars. And that's basically the similarities and differences here. So let's take a look at each individual guitar. The Epiphone here is a great first, second, or if you're into modding guitars, that would be a great choice for you. At the price of like 200 US, 280 or 290 Canadian, you really can't go wrong with it. But if you're starting to boost that price up like a lot of manufacturers are, I think if it starts to get in the $350 range, that's no. We do have, because this is an entry-level guitar, the bridge, the moment that you start to intonate it, it will start to buzz. And it will generally require intonation when you get it because you live in a different area than everyone else in the world. Basically, if you're in a cold climate area, you'll have to adjust because the neck may have shifted or what have you when it, you know, went from one climate to the next. There's a whole bunch of different things, but you'll more than likely have to intonate here, and at that point, this bridge will start buzzing. The pickups, rather hollow, as I did discuss. They work really well for like a high gain tone and stuff like that, but if you're switching from one guitar to the next, you may run into some issues. Pickups for the modding community is usually one of the first things to go. Of course, the worst part of this guitar would be the premium covered tuners here. These are very, very flimsy, and they require that quarter turn to actually like grab the string most of the time. So if you're tuning from like E flat to E or whatever, it's going to take a little bit. This is actually the only guitar with the string break angle like this that I've ever had the issue where the G string constantly goes out of tune. I always tug on my strings, tune up to pitch, never down. I usually do that like 3 different times to get, you know, everything set on the guitar. This, after that, the G string just kept going out of tune. But that's really it for this comparison here. Both of these are great choices. Again, play them for yourself. Don't really listen to what other people are saying. They can give you advice, that's awesome. But if you go to the store and you play this and you don't really like it, but you play this and you like it, and it's not because of the, you know, the size of your wallet, then this is the right guitar for you. It really doesn't matter what it says on the headstock, but the other way around also works. If you play this and, you know, this is what my wallet likes, but you play this and, you know, this feels a lot better to you, then maybe consider saving up, or, you know, get this in the meantime and maybe trade it off and then see if you can get this. It really doesn't matter what it says on the headstock or other people's opinions. It's really about how the guitar feels to you. Thanks for watching.